Yeah, yes, we're here again. Wagwan people, once more. You know, we're not some there. We're not gonna make the show Friday come and 7 o'clock reach and the show not start. So again, we're there again. Welcome to another episode of Creative Always Be. This episode is called Creative Always Be in the Carnival Scene. Navindra, or NH Production TT, has, has made his name in Trinidad as one of the go-to videographers. He has been directing some exciting and energetic content. His music videos, concert videos are amazing. Check them out. He has worked with the big names like Machel Montano, Farmer Nappy, just to name a few. His portfolio speaks for itself. Now, let's find out about how he got started in the industry and more. Let's check out his. Go on, yo,
Yeah, man,
pronounce your name
Shango.
for the people then because personally, as I say, yo, your pronunciation of your name, Navindra Harbukhan, how it pronounce?
Yeah, we almost get it correct. It's Navindra Harbukhan. So
Harbukhan.
the
So it's
yeah
Navindra Harbukhan. So the NH is
Harbukhan.
from Navindra Harbukhan.
Yeah,
Boy,
so
I swear,
it's
your
just
name
it's just
different.
easier. It's
Yes,
just easier
easier
for
for say
people to
NH
call me
production.
NH.
Um, brother. Wait, first thing first, as me always say, you know what I mean, when I come up on the show, I always ask person to kind of give me an idea of how did they get started as a videographer in the industry. So, me go ask you the same question. How did you get started basically in the industry?
Well, I mean, my journey was kind of unorthodox. I spent my life studying engineering. I did engineering at university, and I was into construction. But I always had a passion for music and always wanted to challenge myself with different things. And I always had a, a flair for art, but I never pursued it. Both music and art, I never pursued it in school. You know, you always do in the parents wanted to be a doctor, a lawyer, or engineer. So I pursued the engineering aspect of it. And then once I was able to get to a certain stage in my career as a, in construction and that kind of thing, I started to pay more attention to Carnival in Trinidad. And I actually had, along with my wife, I actually had a Carnival section in a band in Trinidad. And we did that for a number of years. Um, I did it for almost 10 years. But in around the fifth year, which was like around 2012, we wanted to introduce, we wanted to use video and to help market the band in the band launches um, and to sell our section. So I went about the landscape to see who could help me do this video to promote um, to promote my carnival section, and I couldn't find anybody who was either very affordable or couldn't have the vision that I wanted because nobody was doing it in carnival scape. Back then, it only had video on YouTube. We had no Instagram video. We had no video on Twitter. We had no Twitch. We had no video on Facebook was in its very early infancy. So nobody was really doing it to use video to promote Carnival. And that's what I wanted to do. So it's either people were too expensive because they were working on television and working for the big ad agencies, so they wanted a lot of money to do this, or they couldn't see the vision that I wanted. So I just decided to buy a camera and go on YouTube and try to learn everything I could to promote my business, which was a Carnival section. And when I did that, the first year of producing some short little videos to promote and some ads and so on, I saw that my Carnival section was able to almost double in the amount of people that registered for it. And that business started to grow. And at the same time, I started to figure out that I could do some more of these type of videos and video ads for different people. And other people in Trinidad who saw what I was able to do reach out to me to put together these ads, to put together little promo videos for them, little party videos. Um, and there were a handful of other videographers that popped up around that time that was doing this. And then came Instagram video. So we started that started the whole video boom of producing videos for social media. And I was there at the right time, already having some basic equipment, already have some basic knowledge, to start building this career to the point where it blossomed well beyond what I was doing for Carnival in the Carnival section and the Mascape. And it started to snowball and take on a life and a business of its own.
So hold on. What may I hear from you is that technically you are the pioneer in a Trinidad in terms of
No,
them
no,
type
no,
of content
no.
here.
I am not the pioneer. I'm not the pioneer, but I was one of the first people to be able to do this type of content um, for social media in the present form of what social media is.
Yeah,
Because
man.
we
That's what
started,
may I
we
speak
started,
to.
we started to produce content when Instagram only had um, 10 seconds or 15 seconds video. So you're doing a recap, you're doing a show recap in 15 seconds. That was around, I think that was probably around 2014 or 2015. But before we were producing content for YouTube and then using that link from YouTube that you would post to YouTube and share to Facebook. So that's how we would get the views. But I
Okay, so
mean,
what may I hear you say basically is that you were probably one of the early adapters in the basically making these 15-second videos, these 10-second videos attractive enough to basically garner a certain level excitement from audience, and you use that to propel your Carnival band, and people seeing that like, yo, look how the man Carnival band grow. We want our Carnival band to grow too. So we are gonna link this brother to basically make some video like this to allow us to basically get this same result. Fire, fire, brother. As
yeah,
and obviously it is that you see a need. You did have a need. Say, yo, listen, me want to make my band better, you know. So me I gonna use them videos here to make my band better. And you go some woman say, yo, bam. And once you start do it, people start basically gravitate to it, and then, as I say, other people start pop up. So maybe them that do other things, but them realize say, oh, this is a business or this is a way where you can do things, and them just basically start follow. As usual, you know the thing go already. Once something that happen at work, other people basically are gonna try our fight. Fire, brother,
yeah,
fire.
yeah, man. And you see, and at that point in time, around 2012, it was like a transition point in the entire world of this type of DSLR videography. You know, we were transitioning from from basically film to good digital, um, and we transitioning from big dedicated video cameras to smaller DSLR video cameras. That's around the where the 5D Mark II, and so on. And and then a lot of indie filmmakers were using the Canon T3i, you know, these small inexpensive
Yeah. The Canon
DSLR
T3i,
cameras.
classic.
Yeah, classic. So the barrier to entry into videography in its present form, in what we do, um, started to get much lower. It became more and more affordable to buy a camera for a couple hundred US dollars that shot HD video, that shot HD video, and put that up on produce something and put that up on YouTube. And it's become more easier and easier as the years go by. We know in 2020 it's very easy, very affordable for someone. I mean, you have phones that could shoot very high quality 4K and 8K video, um, that once well shot and well lit, somebody could produce a compelling story with just their phone. So you tend to get a lot more people cropping up as you go along.
All right. One of the things I want to speak to is that when I introduce you, I talk about you working with a lot of different artists. I just name a few of them because when I look for your show reel, like when I look for your YouTube and I see a amount of stuff where you do, I realize you work with a whole heap of people. What I want you to do, I want you to speak to that. Speak to you starting out as a band owner, transition in from a band owner basically to a person who's making these videos for your band and stuff like that, and then you move to either working with artists or you're doing the corporate work or stuff like that. So I want you kind of give me an idea of what was the progression, how did it happen, so to speak.
Well, it happened in parallel. As I say, because a lot of people wasn't doing it. Once I started to do it and I put my content out there, I got a lot of inquiries, people calling in, people emailing me, contacting me however they can to find out if I could do a video for them. So in addition to doing on the entertainment side, I decided that I needed to also focus on the corporate side, get some corporate clients, because that's where, if you're forming a business doing videography, that's where the majority, the bulk of the money would come in from. Corporate, the corporate entities have a lot more money to spend. Um, so you just can't start off and get corporate clients. It don't work like that. You have to put out content um, that they could see, and they could see what you are capable of doing. So what I did was I started to work with a lot of nonprofit organizations and charity organizations. I would just go out and do videos for them for free, produce content for them. And in so doing that, I would have content for myself to be able to promote myself. So while I was um, building video on the entertainment side, I was also building video and building my portfolio on the corporate side. So much so that it's now almost half and half, 50% corporate, 50%
Nice,
entertainment.
nice, nice.
But what a lot of
That
people,
that's
what a
so.
lot of people don't see, what a lot of people don't see, like on my social media, I just tend to keep it on the entertainment side.
Yeah, yeah, I realize because when I look on your YouTube and I see the amount of corporate work we have on the YouTube, I like I barely see this on Instagram.
Yeah,
However, you must have a reason why you not necessarily showcase so much of the corporate work and showcase the individual the entertainment side work. One of the
right.
questions, like one of the things I think about, and we I say, we have, what I call it now, whenever you sit down and talk, but when we meet you in a Trinidad, when me and move up and down in a Trinidad, there's a mutual respect. Like if I see you, I hail you up and stuff like that, and whenever you, like, you know what I mean, like, talk, because most time when I see you, you are work, me at work. And then
Yeah, yeah,
we are work with people where you know say you have to be on your game, you know, and I look
yeah,
you just have to be on your game, so you have to do things, you know, I just stand up and I look. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
most of the time I see you, me at work, you at work.
yeah. Most of the time when you come for Carnival, and that's probably the most hectic
Hectic,
point
yeah, yeah. So
in the
me, I
year.
never get to sit down and hold a reason as a creative, but as a creative, when I see an creative in the street and the creative basically I do them work and stuff like that, you'll heal them up, bless them up, what go and rate, but yeah, keep it moving because as we say, yo, we are work and it's very hectic, you know what I mean? Yeah, run up and down and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Um, my
even when I tour with the different artists and we go all over and I meet creatives, we still don't have the time to be able to sit down and talk because we're only there for 48 hours. I mean, you know the thing. Um, you're flying, you fly out. So you don't really have time
yes,
to talk to creatives in any of the islands or any of the countries that we visit. But I try to keep link up with them on the social media, and we have the dialogue, and we just keep in communication on social media throughout.
yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah. that is one of the way how you basically keep connected with the creatives with you, because as we say, even me when I travel with Romy and Verga and Christopher Martin, and when I do travel, like as I say, oh, you're in and out, and remember say, yo,
Yeah.
you're in, shoot the video, edit the video. So you don't really have no time for basically go link up with nobody, because you edit to make sure the video go out before you even go out. You know what I mean? So it very hectic and stuff like that. So what we want you to speak about is your process, how you approach such a hectic type of vibes, hectic type of creating content rapidly, because a lot of persons don't really have that skill there. If you create content rapidly and I travel with the artists and I create different energy and different vibes content daily. Talk about your process with that.
Yeah. So my process, I try to keep things um as organic as possible. You know, I don't storyboard anything that I do. I mean, if it's a huge project, I would storyboard, because your storyboarding helps save time. But for these entertainment videos, I try not to do a lot of storyboarding, and I go into the project kind of knowing what it is I want to capture. Um, you see, on the entertainment side of it is soca music, and soca music is a whole heap of vibes, a whole heap of energy. You can't have
Real talk, a whole
you
heap of
you
vibes.
you yeah, you could have the nice slow motion video, but you have to know how to edit slow motion video to be able to express the vibe and make it match with the underlying music that you're playing. You can have a Machel Montano song at 145 bpm and you just run in slow motion videos. It's on top of that. After a while, after the first 5 seconds, 10 seconds of seeing that, it's just gonna you're just gonna be bored, because it's gonna be the same thing over and over. So I go into I mean, I didn't start off thinking about it like this. It was just trial and error over the years, doing different shows. I mean, I've done over 500 carnival shows, carnival fete shows all over the world, in the past 5 years.
Wow, that's a lot.
So yeah, yeah. So doing that volume of producing that volume of videos for entertainment. You tend to refine this thing over and over and over and try to make it more and more efficient. With that being said, there are no two shows are the same. We always tend to have issues, always tend to have different problems, is different venues, different countries. But at the end of the day, we know that we want to bring the vibes out and we want to showcase the raw energy of the people and the artists. And those are the things that you need to be able to blend with the music to to create an energetic video that will appeal to someone so that when they look at it, they actually feel the energy from the show, even though they're watching it on their screen. Um, so I don't storyboard it out, but I go in there knowing the type of shots that I want to get, the type of dynamic shots I want to get from the artist. And every artist is different. Machel Montano is different to how he performs, the way Farmer Nappy performs, or the way how Nadia Batson performs, or the way how Kes performs. So when I work with these artists like Kes, Farmer, Machel, and Nadia, I have to change my style of shooting and change my style of editing to be able to um, show their power, show their energy that they're bringing out in their performance. So that the ultimate goal is that when you watch one of these recap videos, you must feel like you were there, you know? And that's basically how I do it.
Mad. But they are listening and learning, you know what I mean? Because as I say, I travel with artists too, and I sometimes struggle with, you know what I mean, that having to basically change the vibes and the energy based on even the song and where I am and all these stuff. So when we hear a person like you who talks and say, yo, we do, over the years you have done 500 show, and then you have to kind of, change it based on even the artist that you're working with and stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, wow, wow. Because my thing is one, it's not easy to shoot the video, so you must kind of have some form of idea. You have to basically, wouldn't say storyboarding, but you have to plan it out and say, all right, then Machel Montana, this energy, the crowd, this energy, the atmosphere, the venue, the people. So you basically have an idea of the necessary things that you want to capture even before you reach a venue, right?
Yeah, well, so what we would do is you can't just show up to the venue and expect to shoot and expect to get anything semi-decent. Yeah, you might get through, you might get some good shots, but I mean, we take it a lot further. There's a lot of work that behind the scenes to putting out one of these videos. And some people would say, I mean, it's just a recap video for Instagram. Why you have to go through all of this um, stress to, to do this level of research and this level of background work to do a 1 minute video or 1.5 minute IGTV video. But for me, it's all about the passion. I have a certain passion for the projects and making sure that my work is top notch. I don't compete with anybody, but I must be able to make myself proud of the work that I put out. So we would do things like we would go sound check. When you go sound check is while the artist sound checking, we scoping out the venue, looking for the different positions, looking for entrance points from stage to the crowd. Um, I would even go so far as to time how long it will take to walk from the stage to the front of house where the engineer is
Serious
to get some
business.
shots. Yeah, I would time it. I would time it to know. And then we would work out the set list. The artists would have a set list. And I would work out the set list to know what songs they're going to sing where they're going to do slower songs or songs that we may not get that level of energy. So that I would use that as a point in the performance where I could walk from one point to the other point and look at all the vantage points, look at all the angles, plan all of that in my head so that when it's time for showtime and we come there, remember, we go to the venue 1 hour before showtime. So when you reach the venue, you just have an hour in which to familiarize yourself with the setting, know that there is the crowd there, and start the show. And you only have sometimes the artist might perform for 45 minutes or an hour and you only have that time, 1 hour or 45 minutes to an hour, to be able to get every single shot from every single conceivable angle that you need to be able to put into the edit to get the best possible edit of that performance. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes to be able to get these videos done.
Wow, 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 wow. Like, we are talk about that. You are the second person when we bring on the show. We say how important it is to go to the venue before and scope out the venue. Like, you must know Kiran Khan because Kiran is also from Trinidad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no,
Yeah, so
Kieran.
Kiran even said that on the show, like, yo, you have to scope out the location. It helps. And a lot of people don't know that understanding the location, looking at the vantage point, you take it even to a further, a next level where you say, yo, your time, how much steps are, how much a minute, or you take an hour, or 10 steps, 20 steps to move from one part to the next. And then when you go back to the venue the 1 hour before, you make sure you look and see all these places, and say, oh, so there's a full up of people now, so it probably take a little bit more time to move through the crowd and stuff like that to get to where we want to get to. And this is
Yeah,
crucial. Well, creatives, more people are listening now. Say them information when I get is information we can help you for make you thing look better one, help you for when you go on basically jobs, when you can basically organize yourself in such a way for make sure so you capture the content when you want. One of the things I want to ask you before we reach down to the part where you talk about collaboration is there's a thing what them call overshooting.
yeah.
How does that work with you in terms of how you go about shooting so you don't overshoot, so you basically don't spend too much time trying to edit with 500 content where you don't really necessarily need. Talk about that.
Yeah, overshooting is something that will always happen to anybody who now starting off in this business because you don't know what it is. You don't know what it is the end product is going to be at 100%. You kind of have an idea, but you don't want to come to edit and you realize that you're lacking footage. You're lacking B-roll, you're lacking A-roll, you're lacking all different types of content to be able to edit this thing properly. So you tend to err on the overshooting side, and you overshoot, and you're talking about you might shoot 3, 4, 500 clips to be able to edit a 1 minute video or a 2 minute video, as the case may be. But with experience, you get to realize in the editing process what clips you use and what clips you don't use. So that's the advantage of being a shooter slash editor. A shooter slash editor, the kind of feedback is a feedback loop where um, when you edit the footage that you shot, you can then see the footage that was not needed or not necessary or didn't make sense, so that the next time you go to shoot something similar, you know not to shoot that type of clip from that angle or what have you. So being an editor and a shooter makes you kind of a better shooter, but also makes you a better editor. And it kind of helps raise both levels of skill at the same time. So now um, I would have started off doing 3 or 4 or 500 clips per show. Now I'm probably down to 200, 150, because I know for my edit, I only need a sampling of 100 clips, of 100 like 1 second shots to be able to do a 60-second video. And out of that 100, I will probably only use 50 or 60. And there's another 40 or 50 that is not used in the edit. But you can't have exactly the same amount that you require to produce the video. So overshooting, in summary, overshooting is something that when you start off, you will inevitably do that. But with experience and with knowing what it is you want to capture when you go out there, you will be more efficient. And it's always a battle to be more efficient in editing and be more efficient in shooting. And that way you'll be able to turn over projects much faster and get more projects in a shorter space of time.
Gems, 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 gems. Open are listening and like more the creatives them really are listening, especially the young youth them who are come up and try for learn concert videography, events videography, travel videography. Say if you basically understand or get to the point where you understand what is needed, you can eliminate all the unnecessary stuff them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can say, all right, then I'm gonna go to that event here. We really need 200 clips. Me I need 500. All right. One of the
yeah.
question, cause me struggle with this sometime, and it's not because of me, it's because of other people. Have you ever worked with anybody who just want you to shoot everything, and then you have to explain to them, say, yo, that's not how it work. Because if we really shoot everything, you're gonna take forever to basically try and edit the work.
Um, so whenever I have to work with someone on any one of these shows, now whenever we tour, it's not it's usually myself would go, because they can't bring more than one person to shoot. Because the travel parties be so big and the promoter can't afford to bring 2 videographers. So, but in Trinidad, yeah, I would shoot with somebody else. And of course, whenever you're shooting with somebody else, if you are the primary, you have to, whether it's a wedding or whether it's a corporate shoot
Hold on one
or,
second. I think you misheard the question. I'm saying that have you ever worked with a client? Like for instance, I work with Machel Montano, and Machel
oh, you mean a
Montana say,
client,
yeah, Machel
right? Oh,
Montana
you
say,
mean a
yo,
client,
shoot, just shoot everything. And you have an idea what you need to capture, and then just want you to shoot the whole like every second. Yo, make sure the camera run or whatever. Have you ever worked with clients like that who you have to try to explain to them, say that's not your work, because if you shoot everything, you have a problem getting anything. So explain that to me. If that ever happened to you.
unfortunately, well, fortunately, that has never happened to me. Fortunately, all the clients that I have worked with always give me the creative freedom to be able to produce something for them that makes them look in the best light. Um, I'll be honest, I thought that when I started to first work with Machel, that it would have been the case that they would have tried to kind of dictate how to do things. But I was pleasantly surprised that they were able to just give me the creative freedom for these concert videos and these recap videos. to just be me and um, just do what I am accustomed doing because they saw what I was able to do with different artists from before, and I was able to bring that to the table with them, and then increase the quality. So no, I don't have the experience of clients asking me to overshoot or just shoot everything. But if that did happen, I would have to explain to them that we don't need to shoot everything for the type of content that they want to create. If we have to shoot everything, that would mean that we will be producing a different type of content, or we would need to increase the um, amount of staff to be able to shoot everything. One person can't shoot everything.
Great answer. That is the answer. And as I said, sometimes you have to try and explain to them because not everybody understand the process of a videographer, the process of a creator. So you really have to try and explain to them how it works. Next question now, as we say, we are talking about collaboration. We are talking about working with other creators to create content. And I realize that when Trinidad Carnival comes around, I realize that when I look on your content, it's much different than when you are working by yourself. Based on the angles, based on what happen, you can see somebody, you can see a shot from out in the field, and Machel jump, and then on the stage, you see the same shot. So right away, you know that other people are involved. It's impossible to do
Well,
all that by yourself unless you have
well,
500 camera where you can just press one button and then just shoot at the same time. But
well.
most
Okay,
of the
so I'll give
times,
you. I'll give you. I'll answer your question in two parts.
yes,
Um, the tricks of editing. Once you understand the artist, right, that you're working with, and you've worked with them before, you get to know their routine. It's the same show that is you are experiencing, that I am experiencing on a daily basis, right? It's basically the same set list. They're going to have the same type of performance. The only thing that's going to be different is the crowd and the venue. So if you see a shot from far that Marshall is jumping with his two hands in the air, and then you see another shot close up of him doing the same motion, it may not be from the same instance. It may be from two different songs for two different things that I match edit. So there's something called match edit in an action that you would see one clip of an action followed by another clip of a similar action, which is a match edit. Now, it don't necessarily have to be from the same take or from the same instance that happened. So I've done a lot of match edits in my edits where I was the only person shooting, and people will just think that I had four people shooting, but it was only me. But yes,
crazy,
the second
crazy,
answer,
crazy.
the second answer is yes for Trinidad Carnival. For Trinidad Carnival especially, I like to make the videos much more epic than anything else because the shows are much bigger. There's a huge
Yep,
amount of
we
energy.
see
You're
that, we
talking
see that, we
tens,
see that.
there are tens of thousands of people. When we travel abroad, you would only get crowds of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 500. But when you're in Trinidad, you're talking 10,000, 20,000 people in some of the big fets. You have to bring that amount of energy, and you can't cover that by yourself. So I have someone else who I work with, and has been working with me for the past 3 years, who knows the type of shots that we're looking for because they see the videos. So they know the shots that I look for, and they have refined their skills over the years to get those shots so that we could afford to do those match edits.
Crazy, 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 guys. I've seen it and I'm like, yo, epic, epic, epic. Even let's speak about that boat vibes with Marshall, because when I look on that, that is so epic. So let's speak about that show. I don't know which show it is. I can't recall the name of it, but that show where it seemed like Marshall boat is coming towards this hotel, and then the fireworks in front of it and them stuff there. So let's speak about creating such an energetic vibes and that content and what it takes to basically create such a what I call it now, that energy there in the content and all of that vibes right up from the drone to the ground to the fireworks and all of that. Just kind of give me a sense of how you the process of how you going to shoot that content one, and also when you go in front of the computer you start looking on the content, how you put that together to tell that story that a person would see it and like. epic?
Right. So I just like I just like everything just to look. I don't like to use the word epic, but just grandeur. Just like grandeur. I I like to make the soca music and the entertainment industry for on soca music just look like these massive festivals that they have abroad. And that's one way of just attracting people to understand the energy. So when I produce one of these videos, um, I would tend to think about how I want this video to look different to all the others as best as possible. And that particular event you're talking about is at the Trinidad Hyatt. They have a party every year for Carnival, one of the most exclusive parties that they have, and they go all out. They go all out with their set dressing, with their lights, with their food, with the fireworks, with everything. And that particular year, Machel came in on was arriving to the party to start his performance on a boat that would come dock on the side of the Hyatt, which is at the waterfront in Trinidad in Port of Spain, and then he would come off the ship, sorry, and go onto the stage while fireworks is going on. So you have a number of things happening at the same time. Um, Unfortunately, we were only made aware of this um, whole stage show just about 5 hours before the actual event. So we didn't know in advance, days in advance, but we had to just come up with a plan on the spot to be able to film this thing. And we knew that a drone shot would be one of the most epic shots to that well would be a necessary shot to be able to tell the story, along with some close up and some wide shots. And it was only two of us, so we had to figure out how to position the drone that we would be able to get the angle of the fireworks and the boat coming in, and I would have to be onshore, on land, filming this boat coming in so that I'll be able to get fireworks that shooting up from the water. There's a number of things happening at the same time, but you just have to think about it in your head, think about the story that you want to tell. It's all about story, and um, whether you each one of these videos that I produce has a underlying story. I try to make it as different as possible, but the one for Hyatt has it definitely has a story with the boat coming in, so that has to be featured prominently in the video. So you're thinking about all of these things while you're shooting, while you're preparing. So what you're basically doing is that you're editing the video in your head before you shoot it or while you're shooting it. So when you take the footage to edit it, you already have a storyboard and a kind of flow of how you want to tell the story, and the shots that you need to tell the story in the edit, you have already acquired it. So now you can then assemble. It's just an assembly process now of assembling this thing to fit within the time frame and to be able to tell the most compelling story that you can.
Dope, dope. So, in other words, what I hear from me is that you do a whole heap of, so to speak, storytelling. So you focus and say, yo, listen, once me shoot this thing, it's a story I tell now. And you come up with an idea and say, oh, this is the story I want to tell, and you basically just put all the shots them together to tell that story. So you focus so much on the story. Oh, all right, then I believe that this shot will help the story. So you know that that shot is important, you get that shot. This shot, so as we said, the drone shot out in the sea, showing the fireworks in front of the boat, would also wrap around the boat, so you kind of see the vibes there, you see the building there, you see all of that. You know, say, the shot from land, if you basically, as I say, match edit these two shots, you will get that energy that you see the drone shot outside, and inside you see basically the fireworks, so it kind of give that energy and the vibes there. And you basically tie that around the story, the concept where you come up with, which, yeah, as I say, edit in your head before you even reach basically the hotel for do whatever you need to do. So by the time you reach
Yeah,
hotel, you have a clear sense of what you're gonna do in Premiere or whatever NLE you use. Mad vibes, mad
yeah,
vibes.
yeah. The worst thing that could happen to an editor is being in front of a computer looking at hundreds of clips and you don't know where to start. You must have a plan. And shooting and then editing, you develop that plan, and you become efficient at it, and it makes the editing much easier.
Crazy, crazy. And I'm glad for hear that, because as I say, yo, my thing is, this show is really about creatives basically sharing knowledge, and we really want the young creatives them to understand that if you go in there with a plan, you will get better results than if you plan, because the plan will help to structure you, to guide you as to what you need to capture and how you are going to edit it. So if you want to become a faster editor, you need to have a plan from the jump, from shooting. You need to have a plan, and if you can even have the plan before shooting, that probably even better, because you that done work out all of your stuff them where you need to do the shot them. As I say, yo, you know, really create a storyboard, but storyboard helps. There's a reason why a movie, there's a reason why music videos and all these things have storyboard. Where basically
Yeah,
NH do NH storyboard in I'm head. So him not need
yeah,
to write under the drop no storyboard. Him a storyboard in him head, so him not necessarily need to write down this and draw up this, but storyboarding help to guide you along the process, so you can basically not spend time I try to shoot 500 shots, but you can shoot the necessary 200 shots and get
yeah,
the edit looking good and how you want it. Fire,
yeah,
fire, fire
yeah,
information you give, bruv. And
yeah.
I'm gonna say, yo, every time I think about a show, and I'm like, starting this show, like I started it out of more, yo, alright then, we need to have a show, me I gotta start it. But when I came up with the name Creative Always Be, and I was the name, you said hashtags them, always be creative always, and creative always be, like it really started out as that. I was like, always be creative. People are using it already. You know what I mean?
Right,
Creative,
right,
be creative always. People already use that. So I'm gonna say, yo, you know what I'm gonna
yeah,
go with? Creative always be. And then when I go say
right.
creative always be, I say, oh, creative always be making music videos. So it'll work. And then I say, yo, the
Mm-hmm.
name. And I definitely want this to be a place where a young creative can come and listen from experienced creatives, persons who have 10-year experience, persons who have more experience than 10 years, person who come up in the game who don't have no whole heap of years of experience, but them have a certain level of expertise, or a unique way how them do them thing. Because everybody may talk about we have whole heap of experience. May I talk to people who have a unique way for do it. Me even not talk to people who don't necessarily have videographers. Once you are creative in any right, if you are a chef, we can talk to you, because create, yeah, create. Me just want to basically get persons on who have information, whether them information is new or them information is old, so the information can share, so it can benefit a young creative coming up, or even an experienced creative who never get this. Cause sometimes when me they are listening, you know, and me I learn, you know, me I learn.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I say work, and a lot of times people believe that because they are more experienced in the game, them can't learn nothing. And I believe that anytime you stop learning, you are dead.
Yeah, especially as a creative. Anytime you stop learning, you're definitely dead. Because this thing evolves so much, and it is evolving at a much faster rate than any time before in history. Um, in terms of social media, in terms of how you edit, in terms of different styles, in terms of what people watch, how long they want to watch content. You always have to be learning. You always have to be looking, observing, um, and seeing what is available, to make your work and your life easier in terms of being a creative.
Yeah, man, even think about this. Think about this right now. This is going out on the Instagram. And a lot of persons see this product that I have basically, and they're like, yo, it's a different. This is basically a creative now, you know what I mean, evolving in the space, because this never
Right.
exists 2 months ago. Corona really kick off and make me say, yo, you know, say I gotta go like
Well,
this on Instagram.
well, it existed 2 months ago. It's just that we never utilized it.
Exactly. Well,
So,
yeah, true, true.
so,
Because we go live
so I mean,
with Jamaica and them stuff there. But people never
right. I mean,
use it like that.
exactly. People never use it like that, and 2020 is definitely will be looked back on history as a one of the change points, one of the markers in history that life changed for. Um, we will see whether it's not for the better, but yes, life will definitely change. There are certain markers along history, that things change, So with this whole social distancing, but then also coming out of this is interactions like this. I mean, if it wasn't for COVID and 2020, we might not have been having this conversation because we might not have seen that it was necessary to have this conversation online.
Definitely,
Um,
definitely.
but it forced us to have this conversation online, um, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely a good thing. My question to you, and I tend to not really talk about COVID too much in terms of when I ask creatives about stuff, but how has COVID impacted you as a videographer and your business as a creative in Trinidad?
Well, so at the beginning, we spoke about my business is 50-50 in terms of corporate and on the entertainment side of it. Um, Fortunately for us, COVID did not affect Trinidad Carnival, so we were able to have a successful carnival season. However, coming out of Trinidad Carnival is where the touring starts, where we would be touring with Farmer Nappy or Machel, or we would do one or two shows with Kess, might do his Tuesday on the Rocks shows in Canada or New York or wherever they want to have it. So touring was a huge part of my videography life for the past several years, 5 years or so. Um, so obviously with COVID, there's no concerts, no flights,
No touring,
none of those
yeah.
things. No, so that eliminates touring, and a lot of businesses have been suffering. A lot of corporate businesses have been suffering because they've been closed for several months. So they are cutting back and scaling back on their marketing budget. Um, and not only that, we can't go out and shoot because of the social distancing, because of the lockdown, because of the quarantine. So for the past 3 months, there has been little or no work from the corporate side and zero work from the entertainment side in terms of anything substantial in terms of our revenue earnings. However, what I've been doing is that uh, because I've been so busy for the past few years with my schedule, I use this time to be able to just get through the backlog of work that I have. I mean, I don't have a huge backlog, but just make sure that I get all the work done. I'm the kind of person that I do like to see a lot of work um, pending. I start to get frustrated when I see too much pending work. So just to get that backlog done and just do some cleanup and try to use this time to myself, because as a creative you always need to have those moments to yourself to be able to have some introspection, figure out what's your next move, read a book, look at some YouTube videos, get inspired. You need that time by yourself to get inspired, and you can't always get inspired by the regular noise of society. So for me, I would always try to, I mean, while I'm not earning revenue and it's affecting the revenue earning side of it, I'm using it to be quiet, to listen, to be introspective, to kind of rekindle some of that creative juices um, in this 3 month period. And typically for 1 month for the year, every year, I would dedicate a month, which would be around Christmas time, to just do nothing, take no jobs, just just be with family or be by myself, spending Christmas, not thinking about it, just rekindling those creative juices. So this is kind of like that, but except for an extended period of time.
Fire, fire, fire. So I'm gonna say, yo, that's why I'm always trying to talk to creatives and stuff like that, because you get a different sense of even how somebody else's process is. Because my process is a little different, and I would assume that is basically how all creatives work. One of the things I want for ask you, and this is not something I typically ask creatives, how do you manage, especially with the volume of work where I see you have basically put out, how do you manage the files? How do you manage all of that? Like getting the files, deal with them, make sure you have the backups and all them stuff there. How do you manage that level of volume of work and the files, and how do you make sure you structure it in such a way that if somebody asks for something like 2 years down the line, you actually can find it? Because that is one of the things we a lot of creatives struggle with. They just can't find the files them for a certain time. So how do you manage that?
Um, so I am part of the story. Part of the story that I I forgot to let you know about is that when I first started, when I bought that first camera, before I bought that first camera in 2012, 2013, before I bought that first camera, I spent 6 months researching online about photography. Um, because photography is the basis of videography. Videography is just moving photos. And so to bring that into, so I'm also a photographer. I also do photography as well as videography, sometimes in the same show for the same artist. For Farman Nappy, I do both photos and videos of
Yeah,
his show,
yeah, yeah. We know the vibes there.
right? But that brings it back to the whole file thing. I have hundreds of thousands of photos and hundreds of thousands of video files, and I've never deleted one. I've every single video and every single photo I've taken for the past 8 years. And maybe that's the inner hoarder in me, but yes, obviously there's some things that I do need to keep. But how I do it, how I structure it, is that I would have I would import everything for a current project and have it on my PC or my laptop. And until that project is completed and delivered to the client, and then the client signs off on it and I am paid for it, I would then archive it on an external hard drive. And all those projects, including the original project files, the Premiere files, all the artwork, all the graphics, everything is put into a folder and then put onto a hard drive, which is labeled, which I would label it by the year. So I would have maybe 4 hard drives for the year, and it'll be from January to March, April to July, July to September, September to December. Um, just so that I could have 4 different hard drives, because I don't want to put everything on one hard drive and then that hard drive fails and then I lose everything. Um, I would archive it like that by year, and then I just put that away. So for me to be able to pull back up any project for any client, all I just have to remember is, well, know who the client is and what year the project was done. And I could go immediately, pull my filing cabinet, pull that hard drive out for the other particular segment, a quarter in a year, wherever it was, and access the file. Now, another way that could be done with, but it's still very costly, is creating a NAS, well, buying a network attached storage, but they're very, very expensive. And the amount of files that I
Yeah,
have,
like 10,000, 20,000 US.
20,000 US for something that would have 100 terabytes. But I think I already have about 100 terabytes of footage.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Like, as I'm saying, yo, yeah, the information is important, because when a person get to understand that you create this structure with how you deal with your hard drive them, so you can always basically find back whatever footage. Once you say, yo, all right then, when this happened, January, or maybe January, February hard drive, which year? 2018. We have a
yes,
2018 January, February hard
it,
drive. Boom, you
if,
find it.
if, if you tell me of any project, I can find that project for you within 5 minutes and
Shoot.
have that on my working PC or working machine ready to edit in five
Wow.
minutes.
Wow, 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 wow. And that's why me love that show, you know. I don't know I love that show, so I love that show because the information that I'm getting from the creative, so to speak, has so much value that it not normal. It not normal, and we hope that the young creatives them, if them not listen
Yeah,
now and them are gonna listen in the future, them get them information and basically can use them information to make them life easier in the future. You know what I mean? Like proper
much
easy in the
easier.
future.
I mean, you don't have to copy exactly what someone is doing, because I mean, I've spent I've watched thousands of YouTube videos from all the different creatives um, that I'm sure you've watched as well, and from the United States to the United Kingdom to Australia to wherever these creatives are, and I produce these videos to share their knowledge. And it's not, I won't watch it for just to copy what they do, but when you look at that volume of knowledge being, you receive from hundreds of creatives, You tend to pick and choose little bits from everybody and create
Yeah,
your own
man.
style, create
Create your
your own,
own
you
style and
know,
your own flavor.
yeah,
That's
your own
it.
flavor. Find ways of being efficient for file management, right? Which is a big thing for videography, not so
Yes,
much for
yes, yes.
photographers, but for videographers, you know, that's a big thing. Um, so yeah, to find simple things to be efficient with file management. Time management is also very important. I mean, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of youth come through this business and they are attracted by the by the whole vibes of going a soca fete and having a camera and being able to shoot some hot girls whining and some soca artists and that kind of thing. But then
Them
they
think
get
it
bogged.
easy too.
They think it easy and then they get bogged down in the editing because they're taking on too much work than they could edit, and eventually they get frustrated because they have a whole heap of work that unedited. They can't figure out where to do it because they're not thinking about the story. All they're doing is thinking about shooting, and they eventually just give it up. You know.
Yeah, man.
So whenever you're going into these things, you must always have a plan, and take things in small chunks. Complete one project, move on to the other one, until you
NH,
become so
we,
efficient.
we could have talked for days, but you know,
Yeah, yeah.
Instagram have a little time team because I say information is where me I try to basically get to the younger creatives and even the more experienced creatives, and we're already 55, we're already 57 minutes in. So,
Yes.
brother, blessings, respect, much respect for company show and basically give me a strength and talk and
Yes,
you
my
know
brother.
share the knowledge where you have. So, as I said, creatives can basically understand, and I'm gonna say the time I run out, so I'm gonna run the intro, outro, and basically just really tough. So
It was
much
a pleasure.
respect,
It was a
NH.
pleasure, my brother. It was
Much
a
respect.
pleasure.
So blessings, brother, and guidance.
Lessons. Yes, man.
Yeah. You know, that was another episode of what creative always be. But you know, so we're not close off without basically running a outro and talking about basically this quote. We beat on boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past. F. Scott, what? Gerard, S. Scott Fridge Gerard. We just met that one a while ago. Let me read it again because I don't really even understand this quote 100%. We beat on, both against the currents, borne back ceaselessly into the past. To tell the truth, I don't understand this quote, so I can't explain it. I want them quote the way. I get some part of it. So mean you fight on, you do the work, you know, against the current. But me not understand the last part of the quote. Him say, um, born back ceaselessly into the past. Me not get it. I want them quote the way me not get, but you know, F. Scott, Fridge Gerard or whatever his name pronounce, basically have this quote and then put it out. It's a quote I'm gonna do research and probably write about it on the page. But it was another amazing show. We had on NH Production TT, amazing creator from out of TT. When I look upon him work in a normal, and really appreciate him coming on the show and everything. So that was another episode of Creative Always Be.